Hi guys, today I thought I'd show you how I make my domed bangle. So I've rolled out a strip of black clay on number 2 setting on my pasta machine, 0 being my thickest setting. And I've also got this cutter that I know fits over my wrist, so whatever kind of bangle form you can find that you know is going to go over your wrist comfortably, that's what you can use. You could even use a Coke can, although I find those to be a little bit on the small side, but if you've got smaller wrists then it would work. But anyway, like I say, I'm using this round cutter and I've rolled this strip of black clay, and I've rolled it, it's going to be too long, but it's 11.5 inches. That's going to be too long, but that's how much I rolled out. So I'm just going to take it and place it over my round cutter, trying to keep it as level as I can as I go around. And I am leaving a little bit, it's close to the edge, but it's just slightly hanging over. Not that that really matters, I'm just saying. Okay, so once you've wrapped the whole thing, you can see where it's overlapped, so we want to join those together. So I'm just going to take it a little bit way past that first edge and remove this, and then underneath there's going to be that little bit that was left behind. I just found that doing it that way you get a straighter edge. So you can see there's the join, so I'm just going to gently push that together. I'm just going to squish this bit down a little bit because it's a bit wider there. So I'm just using my finger or my thumb just to join those edges together, so you haven't got a noticeable seam there, and also it makes it stronger. You need to make sure it's nicely blended together like that. Just going to take this bit away where it's not level. And like I say, this is just the base and this is going to be covered, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But I'd just like to get it as level as I can before I go and bake it. Now, I did go over the edge a little, so I am going to cut that away just so it's nice and straight all the way around. Alright, so that's the base. Like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect, just so long as that seam is nicely joined together and you've got it as straight as you can. Alright, so I'm going to go and bake this. I'll probably bake it for 30 minutes just to make sure it is fully cured. And then I'll be back with the next step. Okay, so I've baked the base of the bangle and removed it from the cutter. And then I took some black clay and rolled out a log. Now obviously this is going to be too big for the bangle, but that's okay, we just trim it to size. So this is going to be laid over this, let me just quickly show you, and wrapped around like that. And you've got to try and keep it in the centre of the bangle. And I'm just seeing that it's as level as I can get it. I don't want thicker pieces, so try and roll the log as evenly as you can. I'm just going to take some away because there is way too much there. Alright, so I've got my log, and you're going to need some liquid clay, and I'm just going to run it all the way around the centre of the bangle just to help stick that log down, make it stronger, and just give it a little rub. So just rub it all in and take it to the edges. And it's a good idea to put a fair amount over that join as well, just makes it a little stronger. Alright, so once you've done that, take the log and place it on the bangle and keep it as centered as you can, so in the middle of the bangle, and just start to gently press it down onto the base. I'm just going to tidy the edge because I want a nice neat join. Just making sure it's on there good. This is a bit fiddly, to be fair. And then just cut the excess away and join it up. And I'm just going to keep going around making sure it's on there good. So once you're happy that it's firmly on there and it's as centered as you can get it, I feel like some of my black is a little thick in places, but alright, so you've done that. Now you just got to start gently pressing on each side of this. So you're sloping those sides downwards. Oops. Yes, coming away a little bit. Let me see if I can fix this. Just keep pressing down. You just got to keep going round and just pressing down the sides and then trying to spread them outwards to the edge of the bangle, as nearest to the edge as you can get it. I actually hate doing this, to be honest with you guys, but people have asked me so many times, so I thought I'd quickly show you. Well, not quickly, it might take some time. So just, like I say, keep going round and just smoothing those edges out of that centre coil, that centre log, to the edge of the base of the bangle. I'm going to use this thumb because this thumb has got a big cut in it, so that's why I've got it covered with this, but it's making it a bit difficult. I'm going to take it off. See, I've got this big crack in my thumb again. I think it's from using alcohol. My skin gets dry and then it cracks open. You know, the rubbing alcohol. So I'm just going to keep going round and smoothing this out and getting it to the edge as best as I can. And that's what's giving you the domed shape. So you're not pushing it flat, you're dragging the edges outwards. And I am feeling for thicker areas as well and trying to smooth those out a little flatter so it's not too chunky. So I'm just going to go and play with this off camera for a bit because it does take some time and I do mess around with it for quite a while until I've got it nice and smooth and how I want it. But that's all you're doing. You're just putting that log around the middle of the base and then pressing down the sides and dragging it to the edge of that base. Alright, and smoothing it out as you go. So once I've finished doing that, I'll be back. Alright, so I've got it as smooth as I can, and I've also just sprayed a little bit of rubbing alcohol and used a wipe just to smooth it out even more. So I'll just quickly show you what I did there, and that just helps to smooth it out even more. Now what I've done is I've taken the clay to the past the edge of the base for now, but then that will get trimmed away afterwards. Now I'm thinking whether I trim that now or afterwards. Yeah, I think I'll do it now. So take it to the edge, because you are bringing it down so it's thinner. The clay on the edge is thinner than the centre, if that makes sense. So to make sure that I've done that, I'm dragging it over past the edge. I went out of shot there, guys, sorry, but this is what I was doing. Just those final little touches. And I'm going to take a sharp blade and then just cut the excess away. And my hubby's just come home and he's shouting hello down to me. Alright, so I've just quickly removed the edge of that, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, and that gives it a neater finish. So there's... I'll be back. Okay guys, sorry about that, but my husband kept shouting downstairs to me, so I had to stop recording. Where did I get to? Yeah, so I've laid the clay on, I've smoothed it down to the edges, and then I trimmed away any that was hanging over the edges. So that's that part done, and that's what we've got so far. Now, if it's not perfect at the moment, don't worry too much, because we are going to add another layer now with the design on it. So let's just put this to one side for a minute or two. And I've already rolled out another piece of black clay, and I've rolled this onto a number 3. Let me just see if that's going to make it too bulky. I think it should be fine, because we're going to lay some cane over this and burnish it, so that's going to make this layer a little bit thinner as we go. I'm just going to get rid of some of the untidy edges. Like so. Obviously you need to make this as wide or wider than your bangle. So I'm just going to double check that it's going to fit, and it's quite a bit wider, so that's good, that's fine. So like I say, I've rolled this strip out onto a number 3. Keep picking up the wrong blade. I don't know. I'm just going to tidy it up a little bit more, I think. Just get rid of these rough edges. So we've got this frame, so to speak, to work in. Now I am going to use this cane to decorate the bangle, and this is the cane that I made in my last tutorial. So I will leave a link to that so you can make this cane if you so wish. Having said that, you don't need to decorate this strip with that cane. You can decorate it with your own cane. You could even put some like Makume Gane slices on there, whatever it is you want to decorate it with. But I am doing this so that the cane is going to be blended onto this and nice and flush with this, so it's not going to be bulky. So I'm just going to take my cane, I'm just going to put this way just to get a bit of room, and I'm just going to start cutting slices of the cane. If it needs a little reshape, give it a little reshape, and I'm just going to lay it on the strip. Now, as I said in my tutorial when I was making this, I don't like the busyness of too much cane on the piece, so I'm not covering the whole piece with it. I might do little clusters of it, but I don't want it too busy. So I'm just going to go with my different size logs of this cane, and just add it to this strip wherever I feel looks good. And just giving them a little reshape as I go. And I'm going down, whoops, cut that with the wrong side of the blade, get rid of that. And I'm just going to go down in size of my cane. I already rolled them out to differing sizes. And I'm just going to keep doing that and covering the piece until I'm happy with it. Like I say, you can cover the whole piece if you want to. You can space it out like I'm doing. You can do different sizes as you go along. The choice is yours, but I'm going to go off camera and finish laying my cane slices on the rest of this, and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I've placed all my cane slices where I want them to be on this strip of black clay, and now I want to burnish it really well, and I'm using this steel soap, they're called, and I will leave a link for these in the description. You want firm pressure, so that's why I'm using this rather than just my fingers, and I'm just going to go over the piece in circular motions and then giving it a rub as well. I don't want to pass it through the pasta machine because that will distort the cane slices, so this is going to be a lot of burnishing to get it really smooth and flush against that black clay. So this part it's getting there, but we need to keep going. And you'll know it's blended because you won't see the join between the cane slice and the black clay. It will all be blended together. And bearing in mind this cane was surrounded with black clay, so the black on this is going to blend into the black strip. So it should look seamless by the time you've finished. So I'm just going to keep doing that over and over until I can feel it getting smooth. But I don't want to bore you with that. So this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to go and do the rest off camera, and I'll be back when I've finished. Alright, I finished burnishing and it feels nice and smooth, and I can't see any seams, so I think we're good to go. So I'm just going to lift this carefully off my tile, bearing in mind that because you've burnished, this has made the strip of clay a little bit thinner, which is a good thing because we don't want the bangle to be too bulky, but you just need to be careful. So there's my piece. Just double checking everything's, and it feels nice and flush. So now you need to take your strip and just lay it over your bangle. You don't need any liquid clay now because this is raw clay to raw clay, so it should stick nicely. And just start pressing it down like this. Just going to take this bit here. And if you see any blemishes, you can just smooth them out as you go. And I'm going to take it and overlap it here. And I'm just going to cut this away. And then lift it back up. Got to try and get a nice seam on this. So once you've done that, you just need to take it all the way around again. I'm just going to get rid of this stupid thing and just start to press it down towards the edge. And yes, it's overlapping a lot, but we're going to trim that away. So again, same thing as before. Just keep gently pressing the edges down towards the edge of the bangle, like so. And we need to get this seam sorted. don't know if I really like how it's cut away here and there. I mean, I suppose I could add another cane slice to that to hide it. Let me just have a think, because that means I'm going to have to burnish it again. That's the only problem. Maybe if I put that there to hide that, that might look a bit better. And it doesn't look too much like a random join. So I am going to do that, but then that will need pressing down as well, obviously. But just keep going round and then gently start to fold the edges right over the edge of the bangle itself, like this. See, it's all inside the base of the bangle now, but that's fine, and just keep doing that. And you're going to try and get those edges as level and as smooth as possible. Like I say, guys, making these bangles is quite time consuming. But you can see it's beginning to take shape now. So I folded all this side, and you just flip it and do the exact same thing on the other side. And you can feel with your fingers if there's any like lumpy bits. So you can just continue just to keep going round and smoothing it out. And I am just going to get my roller on that piece that I added and just give it a little roll just to try and get it smooth again. Oops. Alright, so when you've done that and you've got your nice shape and the edges are all nice and neat, I'm going to play with this little bit off camera because it just needs a little bit more of a burnish. But other than that, make sure the seam is nicely together as well. But other than that, I'm just going to start to cut away this excess clay now, and I'm kind of doing it at an angle from inside the bangle itself. So I'm just getting rid of that excess. Like this, and because you've taken it over the edge, you're left with this nice curve. Don't know if you can see. Don't cut it straight across like that. Do it at an angle, and that's what gives it that nice beveled look. And then flip it to the other side, and same thing. Just keep going all the way around. Okay, so there's that. Let's get rid of these scraps. Right, so we've cut away the edge, and it's fairly neat, but any areas that aren't like this bit here, it's not quite gone over the edge. Again, I'm just going to press it down and fold it over. And I'm just going to keep on doing that until it's as neat and tidy as I can get it. Like so. So when I finish messing with this, I'm going to go and put it in the oven, and then I'll be back to show you the next stage. Okay guys, so I finished baking this, and I just want to add an inside layer to it just to make it look nice and tidy. I mean, I suppose I could sand it, but it is quite pitted from putting it on the template, so I am going to use a clean strip of black clay, and I've rolled this out onto a number 4, so it is quite thin, because obviously we still want the bangle to fit. You'd also need some liquid clay, and just put some of that on the inside of the bangle. it just helps the new raw layer stick better. So I'm just rubbing it around and taking it to the edges as well, like that. And then I'm just going to take this strip, place it inside. Cut away some of the excess. Like that. And then take the rest of it all the way around. Make sure it's nicely stuck down. And I'm just gonna, it's a bit tricky to see. I'm just gonna try and slice this away in a straight line and get rid of that excess. Okay, I think that's good. And then just seal it together where the join is, and then obviously you need to smooth that out. So I've got some of this layer hanging over the edges a little bit, which is what I want. And I'm just making sure I didn't take that extra piece out, did I? Oh, it's like really stuck. Alright. Carry on. So like I say, make sure it's nice and stuck down and bring this to the edge. Fold it over like we did on the top. Fold the underneath part like we did this over onto the edge. That way you're getting a nice smooth finish. Like so, and then you can run your finger around. I'm going to have to seal that seam out in there as well. Just make sure it's nicely stuck together. I know you can't see what I'm doing because it's inside the bangle, but I am just doing this with my finger just to smooth it out. Alright, so do that on one side, fold the edges over, go around with your finger just to smooth it off, and then do the exact same thing on the other side. Just bring that clay over, fold it over. My hubby's down here with me. He's being crafty today. I've told him not to make any noise, but what is it you're doing, babe? He's gone all shy. Doing mini. He plays Dungeons and Dragons, and he plays with these like mini figurine type things, and he likes to paint them. Whatever rocks your boat, I guess. Not my thing. He's not responding. But anyway, my hubby's here in the craft area with his little paintbrush. And I'm here trying to do this bangle. Okay, so I just want to get a little bit of the clay over here. It's a bit tore off there, so I'm just going to add a piece and then blend it in and bring it over. Like I keep saying, guys, these are, to me, they're fiddly. But just take your time with it, and hopefully it'll turn out fine. Alright, so I've done that. I've folded the edges over, and we've got all this excess now. Obviously needs to be cut away, which I will show you when I get the right blade. So again, I'm not going to go straight across like that. I'm doing it at kind of an angle as I cut round. It just gives it a nicer beveled look. like this. And then flip it over and do the same on the other side. Just always trying to keep that knife at a slight angle. Like so. So when you've got rid of most of the excess, now you can go back in and start to smooth it with your fingers. And this is where it can take a little bit more time just to get it as smooth as you can get it. So I'm just going around with my fingers like this and just smoothing it out. And if any light hangs over the edge again, no problem, just cut it away again. Alright, so I'm just going to keep messing with that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Cut the excess away, smooth it around with my finger like this. Any bits on the inside that need smoothing, I'll do the same. Because there is a few little bits in there that need smoothing out, but you just need to keep going round and round with your finger, smoothing it out until you're happy with it. Alright, but before I go, this is what I like to do in my bangles. I've got these little wooden block stamps. So I'm just going to stamp CB in there, which stands for Clay Boutique. Just gives it a nice little finish. So I'm just going to lay it down and oops, make sure it's the right way. And then just stamp it in there. I know you probably can't see it, but it's there and it's just a nice little touch. Put your mark on it, so to speak. Okay, so I'm going to mess around with this some more, tidy the edges up as best I can. I'm going to bake it one last time. So this is a 3-part bake for a bangle like this. And then once I've sanded it and polished it, I'll be back to show you the finished piece. Okay guys, here's the finished piece. I've baked it, I've sanded it, and I've buffed it inside and out and all around the edges. So that's what it looks like now it's finished, and I think it came up pretty nice, even if I do say so. And this is a good fit for me. It's a little bit of a squeeze to start with, but I prefer them a little tighter so I know they're not going to fall off. Like I say, you need to go with a size that's going to fit you. Don't actually know what the inches is of this, but there's the finished piece. I've got to try and get it back off now. And that's the finished piece. Just quickly want to show you some other ones that I made so you can get some different ideas. Here's another one I did. Now I made this one narrower, as you can see. So I just started off with a thinner strip of black clay for the base, and I covered the whole thing with Makume Gane slices. So again, same technique, different look. There's that one. And I also made this one. This was quite a while ago, and I made it with I made an extruder cane. Not really my colours or anything, but I just wanted to try it out. Same technique. I used this. I made the base for this with a Coke can, and it's too small for me. But some people have got smaller hands, wrists, whatever. So it could work for some of you. And on this one, instead of just doing a smooth layer of clay on the inside, I actually textured it. And that does cut out some of the smoothing that you need to do, like I did with this one. So you could also texture the inside as well. You're just doing it exactly the same way as I did this. So there's that one. And then another one that I tried was with a cuff bangle. And these are a lot easier to do because obviously you've just got your cuff bangle template. I will leave a link for one of these. and you're just going to lay your initial piece of clay as the base over that, bake it. I suppose you could dome it, but I don't think it would look that great on a cuff bangle. So then I just put the veneer straight over that base instead of doing the log and doming it. It's just a straight on piece there. So they are quite a bit easier to do. And then obviously I did an inside layer as well. So that's a cuff bangle and a different way of doing it. But this is the one from today. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something, and I shall catch you later. Bye.